walking again.
What do you think of my attire today, Dave? Angie always wants to know why the sock's always coming off. You know what's funny is I always have one sock. I always have one sock that doesn't stay on.
Why?
I don't.
You have one foot bigger than the other?
That's what I'm starting to think, man. I'm starting to think. I think when socks shrink, one shrinks more than the
I
other.
don't think so.
It's like having a short sleeve shirt and one sleeve short, you know?
You're weird.
So. All right, so it's Monday, and it's
rainy.
Which is, you know, it's actually nice, right?
It's
it cooled
nice.
it off, right?
It's
the
nice.
weather's great right now.
Yeah.
How much am I complaining about the heat? I think I said this in every video lately.
Dude, it's been really hot.
I think they sold this house.
They did? You got some new neighbors.
I think it's closed. So anyway, I had an awesome trip this past weekend to
Idaho, right?
Idaho Falls. And you know what it was a reminder of? Back when it was 2005, I actually took a trip to Kentucky to the Mega Fit Meals people,
Yeah.
Billy and PG. And they hired me to come out to do their grand opening for their gym. They have a gym called Mega Gym. And it was their first gym. They were young kids at the time. And they hired me to come out. And I remember, you know, I hadn't won the Olympia yet. And they reached out to me and a couple other people. And they said, oh, you returned the message like right away. And they hired me to come out to do the grand opening. And they're like, listen, I know this is kind of weird, but we don't really have any hotels. So will you stay at our house with the parents? You know, we'll stay at the parents' house. I think they had just moved out. I think they're in their early 20s. And I said, yeah, no problem. And, you know, later, you know, we developed a relationship. You know, we did the food company for a while together. And, you know, until recently I branched off and started my thing with Trifecta. But, you know, we're still super close friends. And they asked me, like, when we became good friends and we started having the business together, they're like, let me ask you a question. Why did you agree to stay at our house? And I said, well, what choice did I have? You said to me, you know, there was no hotels.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. And so this weekend I went to Idaho Falls. It reminded me of that because I flew in and they you know, the kid that brought me, Patrick, out of Rip Nutrition, he's like their family's really, they have a big family and the family's involved with the business. Like, you know, the dad was there and the brothers and, you know, the mother-in-law and all that stuff. So when I landed, we went and trained at Anytime Fitness. And the owner actually he came to see me guest pose in Utah, like when he was a kid. So he was so excited to have me there. And he also told me, he did see me, he said the only Olympia I went to was the one that you came back and won in 2009.
Nice.
So it was kind of crazy, but they took me to their house after, their parents' house, and they had like a cookout at like 10 o'clock at night. So they cooked a bunch of food and, you know, I was sitting around a fire. They had like a fire pit and the whole family was there.
Wow.
So I was telling like bodybuilding stories and how, you know, I always tell the story about Stallone and Van Damme because those two are my idols. That's how I started bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Everyone says, who did you look at? And you know Stallone was my guy, you know, from Rocky IV.
Yeah.
And then Bloodsport with Van Damme. So I was telling how, you know, I met both those guys and they both said the same thing. They reached out to shake my hand and said, Jay, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, man.
So I was totally blown away. But you got to remember, with people that aren't relevant in the entertainment community or bodybuilding, to them on the outside, it's like, oh my goodness, like that's just crazy. You know, you're 12 years old and then you met your idols. And
I know, it's great.
so I was kind of telling the story and, you know, this kid had watched me, you know, Patrick, he's of course an adult now, but he had watched me come up and he's like, dude, you're my favorite bodybuilder. I remember when he reached out to me, we did like a video thing at his store and all the fans of his store and people, all the supporters asked him like, how the hell did you get Jay Cutler to come here, right? To a small town. And I just said, well, he picked up the phone and he called me. He actually emailed me and I just got right on the phone and I was right here I was right, like we're gonna do this little circle.
Yeah.
And I was actually right here when I actually called him and said, hey, yeah, I'll come out and do your story. And that was months ago.
Wow.
But he was super stoked. He said it couldn't have gone any better. And I had a lot of kids that came and seen me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to get deep because I'm doing carpet cleaning here.
Oh, okay.
Let me turn around here.
Here's where you get the phone call.
So, and I had so many young kids come to me and they like, oh, my dad used to follow you in the magazines, right?
Yeah.
And I am seeing some magazines float up now, and that brought me to like something. And there was a kid that like followed YouTube there, like consistently, and we talked about like Christian Guzman and all that, and how popular he is, and how 4 years ago he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And the era of the magazines died off. YouTube kind of took over, and then social media, of course. People don't want to read. People want to watch how exercises are done. It's just like the content that Eric puts on the channel, you know, you're a trainer.
Yeah.
And you're the model, right? So he shows, okay, this is how the exercise is done.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
having to explain
having in a magazine day, having to explain, okay, this is what you do. You put an incline bench here.
Yeah.
The cable has to be at this position. You come up and it's so hard to explain, like crossing the body.
You can't get a visual.
You can't get a visual.
Yeah.
And so I tell these kids, like, think about me at the age of 18. I want to learn how to train. Well, at 16, I went to GNC because we didn't have Max Muscle. We didn't have vitamin shops. We didn't have mom and pop stores. It was literally GNC. That's where you bought your supplements and books. And I remember looking at the magazine rack. Remember in GNC, they had the books?
Yep.
And I actually bought this book, Beyond Built, by Bob Paris. And it had all instructional training in there. And that's how I learned, like at 16, and studied it. Like for, you know how you study for an exam and you crunch for like a few weeks? Well, I studied this book for like years. So I knew, like when I started, okay, this is the bench press. You know, incline, flat bench, decline. Back then, remember, people did decline press. Now no one, you ever do decline presses?
Nope.
Never, right? So I had to learn by making those pictures come alive, and how do I really go through those movements. And of course you watch people in the gym, but no one knows what they're doing, right? You moved to California to learn better, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because really you moved to California to be a bodybuilder, right?
I was hoping.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's no bullshit, like you're a full-time bodybuilder. I mean, that's why you moved. I mean, I migrated.
And that in the weather. Yeah.
I know, but it all was relative to the training.
Yes.
And I came to the West Coast because I wanted to be a better bodybuilder. I wanted to be closer to the magazines.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, the magazines moved me to California?
Ugh.
Now the magazines don't exist. I mean, there is a magazine, but that era is over. So now what we've done is we've transpired all that video content. Look, remember the videos that I used to shoot with Mitsuru?
Oh my God.
They had it playing on the big screen. And that just shows you that this guy's still thinking, oh, well, this is how I knew about Jay Cutler, because he watched Ripped to Shreds, A Cut Above, New, Improved, and Beyond. And I'm watching the videos, Dave, because I was doing the meet and greet. And it was like 4 or 5 hours, nonstop people. And every couple minutes I got to look up at the pictures, and I was like, oh my God, I remember this. And it's funny because every gym that I trained at in a lot of those videos is closed.
Yeah.
Flamingo Sandhill, the Craig Road,
Decatur, Sahara.
Yeah, that was where I filmed most of like, the DVD that was playing. It's just crazy. All that shit's gone now.
I know, it sucks.
And they asked, why is that? I said, because commercial gyms took over, just like YouTube. Just think if Dave, you remember coming to Vegas and training with me.
Yep.
And you know what is crazy is I was watching the video from Muscle Beach.
Oh.
When we filmed at Muscle Beach, which was your idea for the video, you know.
06, yeah, when you won. Yeah.
But for, what was the name of that video?
From J to Z.
From J to Z. And Sean Ray gave that name, by the way.
Yeah.
Sean Ray named that DVD.
That was a good one.
And you said, you need to get a workout at Muscle Beach. And I'm like, really? You think that would be cool? And we trained at Muscle Beach, and all the people were watching. But you should see how different you look then, bro.
I was fat.
Well, but you were just like, we look like so different. I had the visor on backwards and shit.
Yep.
And even manager Matt was in the video, you know.
Really?
He was in there. Yeah, but
Sean.
yeah, big shit. Nah,
Yeah.
you know who else was in it? Who looked super young? The kid we saw train with Hidetada, Joe
Tong.
was training
Yeah.
with me that day.
That's right.
And he's a pro now.
You know, this hadn't been done since like decades, they told us.
But so to get back, like, if I would have stayed with the Swole Monkey Productions, you remember we were doing like the little bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
hangout,
yeah.
And Brian was my training partner at the
Yep.
time. Him and Swole, and
Yep.
we were doing that like, oh wait, you know, that was the year I think I'd get ready for the Olympia, then I lost, and we started this whole Swole Monkey Productions. We stopped doing YouTube. Why?
Why?
Because remember I had the contracts with the magazines, and they
didn't want to?
Remember they had their own platform. Remember they started doing their own YouTubes like MD and stuff.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, we only want exclusive content on MD.
Oh,
So I had to stop doing the videos.
I didn't know that.
But just think if we would have stayed, because we were
forget
the
it.
original YouTube people.
Forget it.
How crazy is that?
You'd be way over 1 million, probably 2 million by now, subscribers. And
But we weren't even monetizing it.
I know. I mean, it's crazy to think how fast
Is
it's.
this guy waiting for us?
No, I think he's gonna park behind.
Huh?
I think he's just gonna park there.
Think about that.
I know.
We weren't even monetizing anything. But it gave people like an insight on, okay, this is how we trained. Those videos have, some of them have 1 million views.
Of course.
But I was thinking about that transition of social media, and like, I just did this video and I'm like, hey, it's Monday, it's my favorite day, right?
I know.
And now every second you can see your favorite person, how
It's
advanced
great.
that is, and how ideal that is for, like, just say someone says, oh, I have an interest in lifting weights, training chest, and the
Yeah.
Jay Cutler video comes up. That's why the thumbnails are important, right?
Yeah,
The titles.
Yeah.
But people love content, and it's the littlest things that we sit here and we try to think about, okay, what do the people want? Luckily, we have a huge following, so between emails and social media and the channel itself, we can fulfill the requests on what videos people want, right? We just talked about it this morning, like, oh, talk about the products or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's nice. We can actually, it's interactive. They can
But
let us know. Yeah.
Our age group is so broad.
I know.
Like from kids
To like 60, 70 years old
Yeah.
people. It's
And
great.
I know that from the Cutler Club too, because I did my live feed yesterday, and you should see the members 19, 50, a lot of guys in their 40s, and they talk about, oh, I'm 40. I'm like, no excuses, man. I'm 46. Like, we're still doing it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that transition, how I feel. Do I love social media? Because people ask me this all the time. How do you feel about the magazines disappearing in social media? Because people sit there and say, oh, these Instagrammers, they are just, they don't have anything. How do they have so much popularity? Listen, I embrace it. I love it.
Yeah.
Because I consider myself like I was a professional bodybuilder at the elite level, and now I've transpired, and you have to adapt to the social media world. So
Yeah.
now we're doing stuff, and you and I are neither savvy on a lot of the technical
We're
things.
not
right?
whiz. Yeah, we're not whiz with the computers. Yeah.
And, I wish we had someone that was a little better to really kind of like, we need like that 60-year-old whiz kid that's been
Yep.
locked in his house since 8 years old.
It'll
or,
get there. It'll get there.
and show us some cool things. So if we have any viewers out there that really could help us, give us some better ideas on how to really, if there's some suggestions with the channel, or even some of you people that just know more about YouTube than us. I mean, we're just trying to put out great content. And you're shooting on an S10 now, right?
Yep.
So you've now moved up from the S9 to S10. Can you see a better picture?
Crazy.
Really?
So good, yeah.
And it's so funny because the kid came in and took a picture with an S9 at the event, and the girl taking the pictures, she had been taking iPhone pictures all day.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh,
So much
what
better.
is this?
Yeah.
He goes, this is an S9, and I caught it. And I'm like, man, we shoot on a S9 for the for the videos. And I said the reason is Gold Venice will not allow big cameras in there unless you.
It's just easier to get content anywhere we go. Because if you start bringing the big gear and all that stuff, and it's just something.
You got to get approval for all that stuff.
Yeah, and we don't want to have to ask.
So how has YouTube and social media impacted the bodybuilding world. I think it's all positive.
I think so.
You know, I think you have so many model of people you can use to kind of follow and learn things from.
Yeah.
Content is king. They always said that, right?
Yeah.
So the more articles I had in books, the more popular I was, right? So when I was featured and when I was on the front page of Muscle and Fitness or Flex, people were like, oh my gosh, I gotta buy this because Jay's in it,
Yeah.
right? Now it's the same with social media.
Same
like,
thing.
You gotta grab the attention of, okay, what are people's goals and who are they gonna follow? And luckily for me, I feel like I've developed a great following and a positive following, even from my training videos. If you watch my DVDs in the past, and those are all, I think, on the channel, right?
Yeah.
You dig in the files, like
yeah.
all these things I mentioned, like different purchase also on the website, but I rarely sell
Yeah.
a lot these days. But you can go back and you can learn a lot about a person through their former videos. And even with me, you see the comments, people like, man, Jay's so normal, right?
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I like about it, and I think that's why we created such a great following. I mean, we're gonna break 300 grand this week.
300,000 subscribers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool.
what we're gonna do is we'll do a giveaway, but that's gonna be a different video. We're gonna do something really special, and you know, I appreciate all the fan support, and I would love for your guys' thoughts on the transition for you people that maybe this might not attain to like the 17 or 18-year-olds because you guys don't even recall a lot of magazines unless your parents or whatever had them. But I'd like to know your thought process on how you've accepted the change of social media, YouTube, the learning experience versus the magazines. Because people still keep the magazines, but the thing is, my question is, do you ever go back and actually read the articles in the old magazines? Because they all come to me when I go to these events. And I encourage you guys coming to the Mr. Olympia, bring your magazines if you want it signed.
Yes.
I sign anything for free. Your shirts, any hats, whatever, but the magazines or posters or memorabilia, I'd be happy to sign it for free. You just gotta wait in the lines to get it, you know?
Yeah.
But comment below on the transitional things. And even you younger people, comment, like, would you rather have the opportunity to have more magazine articles? Do you like to read? I mean, because I'm going to ask you, do you read a lot?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't. I read my emails and I read what's on our agenda.
Everything is so fast-paced now.
I mean,
a problem.
I'll get an email, and if someone writes more than a paragraph, I'm like, I'm skimming through it. I find myself jumping ahead. I'm like, okay, where's the cliff notes to this?
I know.
But let's hear comments, guys. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe below and stay tuned for more walking once I get back from
Abu Dhabi.
Middle East.